I've had a few people talk to me recently asking about submitting things that they've created, things like drawings or a Minecraft world that someone made, things of that nature. And it got me thinking that maybe while we're all kind of cooped inside at this point, that it might be fun to have a kind of shared project that we could all work on a little bit. And so I thought for the next week or so that we could all, or those of us who want to participate, come up with some kind of creative thing that you're willing to share with other viewers of the channel. And if I get enough, well, I guess any submissions, I will make another video later on and show everyone what people have submitted to me. Now, to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I'm going to show you a number of things that I've made throughout the years. Just totally random stuff, but, maybe it'll get the creative juices flowing. I'm going to set a deadline tentatively of next Wednesday, so that's April 15th, and I ask that you submit whatever it is you're going to submit to me, whether it's a photo or a video or what have you, using the social media links that I will put in the video description or email on my website. Any way you can is fine, and I will go through them, and as long as they're not inappropriate or something for putting on the channel, I will include them in a future video that we can all see. So what do you think? Does this sound like a good project? I hope you agree, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys can come up with. So without any further ado, let me show you some of the things that I've made throughout the years. By the way, most of the stuff I'm going to show you has to do with Jabba himself, but it could be really any character from Jabba's palace. That would be fine. First of all, I thought I would share with you the very first Jabba drawing that I ever did as a kid. This was when I was probably 8 or 9 years old. You can see I drew Jabba and Jabba's palace, although I misspelled Jabba in both cases, so that's a little embarrassing. But anyway, it was, I believe, taken from this book, How to Draw Star Wars Heroes, Creatures, Spaceships, and Other Fantastic Things. And you can see a very similar Jabba there on the cover. And now that I have kids of my own, they've done their share of Jabba-related artwork, mostly to please me, I suppose, but still, it's kind of nice. This is one by my then 2-year-old daughter, which you can sort of barely make out as Jabba on his throne. And then later on, we have full palace artwork here in a couple of ways. This one here is of Jabba at Christmas time as a Christmas present that my son did for me a while back. This is a drawing that I did called Jabba the Hoot, which is, of course, Jabba if he were an owl. I'm sure you've all imagined what that would be like from time to time. Here is a chalk Jabba that I did in our backyard a few years ago. I also created this word cloud artwork, and if you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically a silhouette of something that is made up of words that describe that thing. So in this case, we have things that are terms that are related to Jabba, and I tried to color them in a way that would be appropriate for Jabba's coloration. So we have his red eyes, and then the green tail and so forth. Here's a paper snowflake based on Jabba's head and arms, as you can probably tell. My son also made me this Jabba stick puppet that I liked quite a bit, and I still have displayed on my desk. Speaking of puppets, I made these finger puppets with my son a while back out of felt. This is obviously Jabba and Bib Fortuna. My son made me this felt Jabba on throne a while back for a gift. I've also tried my hand a little bit at some traditional sculpting. I'm not particularly good at it, but I did create this kind of cartoony Jabba sculpture out of Sculpey modeling clay, made around a core of crumpled up tinfoil, and then you just put the Sculpey around it. I did use some real metal rings for the gargoyles there, and then of course I painted it, and I think overall it came out pretty well. About the only thing on here not made of clay is this right here. This hose was made from a piece of cord off of some headphones that I just cut off because it seemed like the easiest way to replicate that. And of course I mentioned the rings there. As I say, this was kind of my first attempt at doing this, and I haven't really done a lot since then. This was made a few years ago. But I do like the facial expression I got on his face there. He looks like he's kind of smiling mischievously, or, he's got a grin that seems appropriate for Jabba. I also did one other piece that's not really meant to be a companion to this, but it's a separate piece. It is a Salacious Crumb. So you can see right here he's quite a bit bigger than the Jabba, so wouldn't be in scale. But as a separate piece, I think it came out relatively well. I created this using a kind of armature that I made of paper clips that I bent into place and glued together to make a skeleton. And then I used Sculpey modeling clay again, and a little bit of the sort of green epoxy putty you can see there for the fine details. And I think in terms of the pose, that's the thing that I was most proud of for this, because it looks relatively natural, I think, for Salacious Crumb. I also made a little pillow there for him to sit on. I've made my share of food items related to Jabba. Here's a Jabba pancake I did a while back, just doing it freehand. I also made a Jabba pizza, or Pizza the Hut if you prefer, for a birthday party of mine a while back. This is a Jabba bento. A bento is, of course, a Japanese boxed lunch. This is made out of things like rice and tofu and eggs. This one is a vegan shepherd's pie. I made the colored parts of the Jabba by mixing in pureed carrots and green peppers. I've also made a variety of Jabba cookies. This one I just sort of made freehand at one point, whereas this one is from a 3D printed cookie cutter that I designed. And here's another version of that one. And some of you may remember that I made a video about using 3D printing to recreate the vintage Pepperidge Farm Jabba the Hutt cookie. I even made this Jabba donut. Well, I didn't really make it so much as decorate it. This was something that Mr. Donut in Japan was doing. They gave you a sort of a blank donut and a chocolate pen that you would squeeze out onto the donut to decorate it. So naturally I chose Jabba. Finally, as a totally random entry here, I have Jabba the Sock, which is a Jabba made entirely out of socks. So I hope that you have been inspired by some of these items, and maybe you can unleash some of your creativity in the coming week. I'm looking forward to seeing what you all can create. Thanks for watching.